Welcome back. To talk about the 33th anniversary of the Reunification Day, joining me from Los Angeles, Fernando Carvajal, a former UN expert in Yemen. Good to have you again, Fernando.
Thank you for having me.
So let me start directly. As an international expert in the Yemeni affairs, how do you describe the historical accomplishment of the Yemen's reunification?
Yemen unification in 1990 was definitely an achievement in the southwest of Arabia. If we look at history, the unification of the Yemeni territory had been a policy for the Republic, the Yemen Arab Republic, and even for the independence, the fighters for independence in the south against the British. Since 1967, the people that established the Republic in South Yemen after British colonialism expressed their willingness to embark on the unification project. So in 1990, for better or for worse, it was the accomplishment that had been planned for decades before.
So, taking into account the current state of the affairs in the country, in your opinion, who poses a real danger in Yemen's unity?
We absolutely have to look at the root of the conflict. We have to look at past the rhetoric, past the propaganda. And today, the primary obstacle to unity, to the dissolution of unity in Yemen, are the Houthis. There is a lot of rhetoric over the weekend, and we see this over the past couple of years, since 2019, basically, where the narrative has focused on the SDC. But when we look at the rhetoric that comes out from Yemeni political figures of northern origin, primarily, they fail to focus on the Houthis. They fail to focus on the primary obstacle today to unity. The Houthis march into the south. The Houthis have fragmented the political environment in Yemen. They have fragmented the political geography of Yemen. And without looking at the Houthi issue, without looking at a future arrangement with the Houthis, you cannot begin to speak of maintaining unity. And words are important. There is no secession at the moment. There is what we see in Aden is the unification of the southern factions. And it is very interesting that we look at the last couple of weeks where the narrative from government officials, Islah, Houthis, other GPC members, the reaction has been to attack the SDC as preparing for secession, rather than looking at what the SDC is doing and unifying the Iraq factions in order to oppose the Houthis. For 8 years, we have seen Islah, GPC, the national military, lose territory to the Houthis. That means that they're losing unity. If we also examine the words of President Rashad al-Alimi on Unity Day, when he mentioned unity and that had the problem since 1994, he has basically, some Southerners have basically interpreted that as Rashad al-Alimi calling for the parties to sit back down, re-examine unity, and reset the clock on unity. You cannot begin to do this while the Houthis are in power in Sana'a.
Right. How is a unified and stable Yemen important for the security of the region and the world?
The Houthis love the line that the regional and international powers are bent on breaking Yemen, are bent on dividing Yemen. And yet this morning, since last night, we've seen nearly every Western government and definitely every Gulf government call on President Rashad al-Alimi and congratulate him on Unification Day, on Unity Day. The only ones that have canceled the celebration of Unity Day are the Houthis in Sana'a and elsewhere where they control. There is no doubt that the regional powers in the Gulf and the GCC, whether it's Saudi, Oman, or UAE and Qatar, they all see a unified Yemen as a priority, as a precursor for stability. it is just reality that they need to look into, that the way things are on the ground, unification under the Houthi leadership is not a recipe for peace. It is not a recipe for stability in the southwest of the Arabian Peninsula.
Right.
So
we're going to have to leave it here. Thank you so much for joining us, Fernando.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.